Free college football picks. This is week 5, part 1. Tony T here with our college football pick show here for Monday. We'll feature 10 games from the card on Saturday. I believe this week we've got 54 games or so, something in that neighborhood. We're going to get them all to you here. Actually, 56 games we have. We're going to get them all to you in parts in about 5 parts this week. So we start here with part 1. Before we get to it, just a couple things. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have free college football picks updated all season long. Free picks every day from all the major sports like NFL, like Major League Baseball playoffs. We're just about a month away from NBA and NHL, making it a great time to subscribe. And also, if you would support our channel, a like, a thumbs up, we'd greatly appreciate it. Then visit our site, TonySpicks.com. We're a multi-capper site showcasing top cappers in our industry. Click the links to the hot cappers, get signed up to our long-term passes. You'll see here top performers here for the month, for the year, like Ramon Scott, Joseph Schultz. Collins Brown's been hot over the last 30 days. Nick Vartini in there as well. Yours truly. Last 7 days, it's been Ramon, all Ramon. Look at how hot he's been. Hollywood Sam, Nick Vartini, Nick in there. Of course, Ramon, Nick, and Joseph for great days. Ralph Raymond, Nick Lagaretto's hitting the leaderboards as well. Click the links, get signed up to our long-term passes. You'll find our latest premium picks here center of the page. The tabs here for our best bets, our $15 premium pick, and our multi-packs up there as well. Scroll some more, and you will find our pick ticker. And there we have picks a la carte, our premium picks sold a la carte with team versus team information. You can save 20% off all premium pick packages. By the way, when you use that promo code TonyT at checkout, you can access our page by clicking the link you see there in the description. Click the All Cappers tab, get signed up. Always love to hear from you guys, so you can post your picks in the comments. We are looking for cappers, so apply on that home page. All right, let's go ahead and let's get this one started. Florida and Kentucky college football pick. Here we go. This is action on Saturday. Florida improved to 3-1, a 22-7 home victory to Charlotte. The Gators rushed for 4 yards per attempt. They limited the 49ers to under 3 yards a carry on the ground with 133 yards passing on 25 attempts. The Gators had a -2 turnover margin. Graham Mertz, 20 of 23 for 259 yards with a touchdown. He averaged 11.3 yards per attempt there on the air. Stalled drives really resulted in 5 field goals. Now Kentucky 4-0, a 45-28 road win at Vanderbilt. The Wildcats built that 24-zip lead early in the fourth quarter. The team rushed for 162 yards. They held the Commodores I should say, to under 4 yards per rush with 231 passing yards on 47 attempts. Wildcats picked off 3 passes with two going for touchdowns. Devin Leary, an NC State transfer, 15 of 29 for 205 yards with a touchdown and 2 interceptions. He's thrown a pick in every game. Commodores played without 3 starters in the secondary, missing just 3 minutes into the game. Wildcats have won the previous 2 meetings and covered 5 of 6 with a push. Kentucky is 21st in total defense at holding foes at 2.8 yards a carry. The Gators in their lone road game were beaten at Utah behind a backup quarterback 24-11. Play here Kentucky -3. USC and Colorado college football pick. Here we go. Action on Saturday. USC improved to 4-0 after that 42-28 road victory to Arizona State. Trojans rushed for 9 yards a carry in the game. They did allow nearly 3 yards per rush to the Sun Devils with 263 passing yards on 42 attempts. Caleb Williams, 20 of 31 for 322 yards with 3 touchdowns. He did average 10.4 yards per pass attempt and 2 rushing touchdowns. Trojans were flagged 10 times for 85 yards. Colorado fell to 3-1. 42-6 road defeat in Oregon. Buffs were down 35-zip at the half. They allowed over 6 yards per rush to the Ducks with 282 passing yards on 35 attempts. Shooter Sanders here, 23 of 33, 159 yards with a touchdown. He did average only 4.8 yards per attempt. USC 73rd in the nation in total defense by allowing 364 yards a game. The yards passing allowed to a down Arizona State is a concern. Well, we see some line movement. We are using live lines here on the show. So the play here will be on Colorado here at plus 21.5. Clemson and Syracuse college football pick. Here we go. Action on Saturday. Clemson fell to 2-2, a 31-24 home defeat to Florida State in overtime. Tigers rushed for 3.5 yards a carry on the ground. They held the Seminoles to only 22 yards rushing with 289 yards passing on 37 attempts. Cade Klubnik hit on 25 of 38 for 283 yards with a touchdown. He averaged 7.4 yards per attempt and had a rushing touchdown. Syracuse 4-0 after their 29-16 home victory to Army. Orange rallied in the second half after being held to 3 first-half points and no third-down conversions. The team gained 4.5 yards a carry on the ground. They limited the Black Knights to under 3 yards a carry with 145 yards passing on 21 attempts. Garrett Schrader hit on 21 of 26 for 245 yards with a touchdown and interception. He averaged 9.4 yards per rush with 50 rushing yards and a touchdown. Clemson has won 5 straight, but the Orange has covered 5 of 6 in this series. Orange sit 15th in the nation in total defense by allowing 274 yards a game and holding opponents at 2.5 yards per rush and a 5.5 yards per pass attempt. Tigers really struggle with efficiency in the passing game. Orange hit 67% of their throws with a 9.1 yards per attempt average. Play here Syracuse plus the 7. Texas A&M and Arkansas. College football pick. Here we go. Action on Saturday. Game is played in neutral field in Arlington, Texas. Texas A&M 3-1 after their 27-10 home victory to Auburn. The Aggies rushed for 209 yards. Now defensively, they held Auburn to 3.5 yards a carry on the ground with only 56 passing yards on 23 attempts. Connor Wegman hit on 8 of 14 for 70 yards with 5 yards per attempt. He suffered a lower leg injury, doubtful for this one. LSU transfer Max Johnson now. He relieved, hit 7 of 11 for 123 yards with 2 touchdowns. He averaged 11.2 yards per pass attempt. Johnson saw action in 18 games while at LSU in 4 games last season. Arkansas fell to 2-2, a 34-31 road defeat at LSU. Razorbacks rushed for 4 yards a carry. Defensively, they did allow over 6 yards per rush to the Tigers with 320 passing yards on 29 attempts. KJ Jefferson, 21 of 31, 289 yards with 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He averaged 9.3 yards per attempt and rushed for 48 yards. Backup with experience likely under center for the Aggies. Jefferson's mobility a plus. Now, in the Aggies' lone game away from home, they were crushed to Miami, giving up 48 points and 451 yards. Play here, Arkansas plus 7. Penn State and Northwestern in college football pick for action on Saturday. Penn State 4-0. A 31-zip home victory to Iowa. The Nittany Lions rushed for 215 yards. They limited the Hawkeyes to nearly 1 yard per rush with 56 passing yards on 16 attempts. The Lions had a +4 turnover margin by recovering 4 fumbles. Duelar went 25 of 37 for 166 yards with 4 touchdowns. He averaged 4.5 yards per attempt. Northwestern is 2-2 after their 37-34 home victory in Minnesota in overtime. The Wildcats outscored the Golden Gophers 21-zip in the final quarter to force that overtime period. They rushed for 3 yards a carry. Northwestern did allow 244 rushing yards to Minnesota with 191 yards passing on 19 attempts. Ben Bryant hit on 33 of 49 for 396 yards and 4 touchdowns. He averaged 8.8 yards per attempt. Penn State's defense outstanding. The Wildcats passing game ignited last week. Bryant plays in his third. Bryant is playing for his 3rd team in 3 seasons, so there can be a comfort level now entering Game 5 of the season. He played in Cincinnati last year. Play here in Northwestern plus 27. Buffalo and Akron in college football pick. Here we go. Action on Saturday. Buffalo fell to 0-4, a 45-38 road defeat in Louisiana. Bulls scored all 38 points in the second half. The team rushed for 178 yards. They surrendered 269 yards on the ground to the Raging Cajuns with 249 passing on 29 attempts. Cole Snyder, 17 of 34 for 198 yards with a touchdown and 2 interceptions. He averaged only 5.8 yards per pass attempt. Akron 1-3 after a 29-27 road overtime defeat to Indiana Hoosiers. The Zips rushed for 264 yards against a Power 5 team. They limited the Hoosiers to under 3 yards per rush with 190 passing yards on 26 attempts. DJ Irons, 22 of 35 for 194 yards and 2 interceptions. He rushed for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns. Akron, 118th in total offense with only 3.4 yards per rush, 5.9 yards per pass attempt. Bulls offense puts the check mark in their corner here. They do have a high volume passing game, and their 38 they put up on Louisiana, encouraging play here. Buffalo plus 2.5. Louisiana and Minnesota college football pick. Here we go. This is action on Saturday. Louisiana is 3-1 with their 45-38 home victory to Buffalo. Raging Cajuns rushed for 269 yards. They allowed 4 yards per rush to the Bulls with 195 passing yards on 35 attempts. Zian Chris, 22 of 29 for 249 yards with a touchdown and 2 interceptions. He averaged 8.6 yards per attempt and had 70 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Chris is in for Ben Wooldridge, who is out with a foot injury. Minnesota fell to 2-2 after their 37-34 road overtime defeat to Northwestern. Wildcats Golden Gophers blew a 21-point lead after 3 quarters. The team rushed for 244 yards. On defense, they held the Wildcats at just over 3 yards per rush, but 400 passing yards on 51 attempts. Ethan Kalakmanis hit on 14 of 19 for 191 yards with 2 touchdowns. He averaged 10.1 yards per attempt with 34 yards on the ground. This is the first game for Louisiana against a Power 5 team. But the Raging Cajuns here are 18th in total offense. Golden Gophers showed weakness in pass defense in the last game. Offensively, this is not an efficient passing attack either here for Minnesota. 54% completions, 5.9 yards per pass attempt. Play here Louisiana plus the 10. South Alabama and James Madison college football pick for action on Saturday. South Alabama 2-2 with that 34-30 home defeat to Central Michigan. They blew a 14-zip lead after 1 quarter. The Jaguars rushed for under 5 yards a carry. They limited the Chippewas to just over 3 yards per rush with 230 passing yards on 31 attempts. Casey Bradley 17 of 27 for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns. James Madison improved to 4-0. A 45-38 road win at Utah State. Dukes rushed for 4 yards a carry in the game. They held the Aggies to just over 3 yards per run with 402 passing yards on 49 attempts. JMU had 5 turnovers and forced 3 by the Aggies. Jordan McLeod at 23 of 34 for 364 yards with 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He averaged 10.7 yards per pass attempt and had 2 rushing touchdowns. Lots of big plays allowed by both teams. Duke's rush defense outstanding, holding teams at 1.4 yards per carry. Gotta respect the Duke's victory to Troy and Virginia, both on the road. Jaguars 112th in the nation here in yards allowed per pass attempt offensively in the country by allowing 8.4 yards per attempt. Play here James Madison minus 4.5. UAB and Tulane college football pick. Here we go. Action on Saturday. UAB fell to 1-3, a 49-21 road defeat to Georgia. The Blazers rushed for over 3 yards a carry. Offensively, they allowed the Bulldogs 188 yards rushing with 394 passing yards on 40 attempts. UAB a +2 turnover margin. Jacob Zeno 32 of 51, 250 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception. He also contributed with a rushing touchdown. Now Tulane was 3-1 on the year, a 36-7 home victory to FCS Nicholls State. The loss came at home to Ole Miss 37-20 with 2 other victories to mid-major programs. Michael Pratt returned in the win against this FCS opponent following a knee injury. In Pratt's lone game against an FBS opponent, he completed 14 of 15 for 294 yards and 4 touchdowns against South Alabama. He ran for 39 yards. He is in the 4th season as a starter. Blazers are inexperienced on defense with 4 starters back. UAB airs it out 43 times a game, sitting 3rd in the nation. High completion rate of 75%, but very low yards per attempt at 7. UAB, poor defensive team, allowing 430 yards a game, 6.6 yards per rush. Possibility of a high-scoring game is high here. The play here, UAB and Tulane over 55.5. Utah State and UConn college football pick. Here we go. This is action on Saturday. Utah State fell to 1-3, a 45-38 home defeat to James Madison. The Aggies rushed for over 3 yards a carry. They surrendered 4.5 yards per rush to the Dukes with 364 yards passing on 34 attempts. Aggies did have a +2 turnover margin. McKay Hillstead hit on 25 of 47 for 399 yards with 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He averaged 8.5 yards per pass attempt and took 5 sacks. Now UConn fell to 0-4, 41-7 home defeat to Duke. Huskies rushed for under 3 yards a carry. They did limit the Blue Devils' ground attack to nearly 3 yards per attempt with 248 yards passing on 34 attempts. Daquan Roberson 13 of 28 for 114 yards with 4 yards per rush average. Huskies have been held to 17 or fewer points in that game. Actually, Roberson was 4 yards per pass attempt. They're very inefficient. Huskies have been held to 17 or fewer points in 6 straight, dating back to last season. Now the Aggies are the better offensive prowess, showing better offensive prowess right now of these two teams. They are running for 5.3 yards per attempt. Connecticut 130th in the nation in yards per play offensively with only 4.4 yards per attempt. Play here Utah State minus 5.5. All right, that was our college football pick show here for Monday. We gave you 10 games here from college football on Saturday. This was our Week 5 Part 1 show. We'll get all 50-plus games in for you in parts throughout the week. They get you ready for college football coming up for this weekend, guys. So make sure you subscribe to our channel. We have free college football picks updated all season long, free picks every day from all the major sports like NFL, like Major League Baseball. I have every pick from the Major League Baseball playoffs. Remember, the Major League Baseball playoffs will start a week from Tuesday. And also NBA, NHL just about a month away. So we're going to have a lot of content for you here on our channel. Lots of live shows, guys. So make sure you like, subscribe. And of course, you want to give us that like, that thumbs up here on this video. It's greatly appreciated in helping us out, supporting the channel. And of course, remember, visit our site, TonySpeaks.com, for our best plays. We give you every play here on the show, and then we select our best plays, make them premiums. If you want those, you have to you go to our website to get those. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout. You'll save that 20% off. All right. We'll have a lot of live shows, lots of picks throughout the day. I'm Tony T. We'll talk to you guys later.